I am in a hair salon in Estonia. I promise this is relevant to this video and to Eurovision, and I will explain in a minute. We are back to see what happens in this year's Estonian national selection, but we're not here to just do that. We're of course going to show you a bit of the show on Saturday and give you a taste of that, especially given that while last year was pretty one-sided with Tommy Cash, this year it looks to be wide open. We're also going to continue one of the main themes of the vlogs we've been doing so far. This year, with everything going on in Eurovision's ongoing identity crisis, we've been trying to investigate a bit more of the why of the contest. In Moldova, that meant looking a little bit at Moldova's society and politics to understand how Eurovision and their Eurovision entry this year fits into that. In Estonia, we're focusing more in on the artists specifically. All of these artists have personal and professional reasons for entering Eurovision and for entering national selections. In this video, we're going to be speaking to a few of them to understand what those reasons are, because they're different for everyone. First though, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of a few of the contenders and some of the people we're going to be speaking to in this video in this year's Eesti Laul. We won't show clips of the songs on screen now, but you'll see it later when we go through the actual show. First, there is Vanilla Ninja. They're legendary in Estonia to the point that they have their own ice cream brand, and it's one of the most popular and successful in the country. Incidentally, this week it's 20% off in the supermarkets. Unfortunately, their song Too Epic to Be True is neither revolutionary nor competitive. That said, because they're such a big name and because there's a nostalgia factor here for Estonians, there's a real danger they might win anyway. Hopefully, one of the other songs we're going to talk about is going to stop them. Second, there's another returnee in the form of Olli, though he has never made it to Eurovision. His song Slave is metalcore along the same lines as his previous two entries. Unfortunately, Olli is a bit of a bridesmaid and never the bride in an Eesti Laul context, because he's now come second at the show twice. Most recently, he came second 2 years ago behind Viismiinust and Puulup. He's second in the odds this time around, but honestly, given the mental trauma of coming second a third time, I hope he either wins or doesn't get anywhere near. Then we have Clicherik Max, who are dark horses for the victory. They're a little bit behind in the odds, but they are big favorites among young people here in Estonia. If you remember good friends of ours and of the channel Vibe from Iceland last year, Clicherik and Max are kind of a slightly grittier Estonian version of them. I did actually play their song to Vibe and they loved it, so there's that. That song as well has more layers than you'd expect, so we're going to be speaking to them about it later in this video. Nup is another artist that you're going to be hearing from in a bit, and his song Days Like This is definitely one of the ones with more jury appeal, both here in the national selection and at the contest in May. The song hits on a kind of nostalgic hope and escapism that we're seeing quite a lot in Eurovision at the moment. As an example, Leka's song Rhythm, which won in Ukraine just last week, also plays on some of these themes, admittedly in a very different context. Nup is an established artist, he's got a great voice, and he has experience of performing internationally, so this could be one to watch too. Briefly, I do want to mention a couple of others, though we won't be covering them in depth in this video, namely Eurovision returnees Getter Jaani and also Stig Rasta and Victor Krone. Getter has brought something a little less quirky than Rockefeller Street, it's more of a generic pop song. Meanwhile, Stig and Victor appear to have taken leave of their senses slightly and are acting like they're 23 years old again. They've come together to make a totally inexplicable duo called Stockholm Cowboys. In the course of this, Stig Rasta literally takes flight. The last artist to highlight, and the reason that we are sat in this hair salon, is Ant and Minimal Wind. You might remember that we interviewed Ant at Eesti Laul last year. Minimal Wind also participated, but this year they've come together and it's a much slower ballad than either of their songs from last time. That is where this hair salon comes into play, because this is the Zeya studio, which is owned by last year's Eesti Laul second places Andrei Zevakin and Karita. They are both in this room now, staring at me from behind the camera. What's interesting though is that Ant also cuts hair as a hobby. And so shortly, he's going to be appearing here to do an interview with me with a bit of a difference. Firstly though, because this video is about the different personal and professional goals that artists have when they come to these kinds of national selections, and we are sat in a hair salon owned by the people who came second in Eesti Laul last year, I think it's only fair for me to give them a moment to express why they wanted to do Eesti Laul and what it meant for them. Like I said, both personally and professionally. Therefore, I'm going to attempt a magic trick, and if it works, when I click my fingers, Andrei Zevakin will appear here.
What the fuck? Anyways, yeah, well, I've participated in Eesti Laul since 2019, I think. It was it's been always my dream to go to Eurovision, but unfortunately I haven't, still managed to go there. Thank you, Tommy Cash. I don't know. I just love Eesti Laul. I've been watching it like since I was a kid, and as I said, it's always been my dream. And I think it's developed me to a person I am today, because I've always obviously built a lot of like friends there. I've managed to pick up like some knowledge on how to do the social media thing, do music and all of that. Is this desire to win, really. It's just, I love to compete and I love to participate in Eesti Laul, and all the people there are super nice, super friendly, and you always get like an experience there. So, that's, I think, one of the reasons I'm always there. Not this year, I was in the jury, but maybe we'll see. Maybe someday I'll be back and hopefully I win if Tommy Cash doesn't decide to come. But yeah, let's get Gabe back here, so.
Right, now it's time to speak to Ant, and that actually also means getting my hair cut. Ellie, who is my normal hairdresser, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry for cheating on you. So is this just like a hobby for you on the side then?
I don't know, we'll see.
Well, I really hope you know what you're doing, because I've put my head at your mercy. If I come out of this thing bald, I'm going to be mad and you will be getting sued. Seriously though, how are you? Because obviously we sat down and talked last year. I think, we both kind of know, you had quite high hopes. The way we were talking was very much, I want to win, I want to take this on to the next stage and so on.
Yes.
How do you feel about it now it's been a year?
I mean, it was very hard that you expect something and you're very locked in. You don't care who is there, what are the other opponents and stuff. Because until then, all the singing related competitions that I have ever been to, as you know, I did the Idol format here. I didn't have any experience with losing.
Yeah.
Now I have.
This year, it was sort of Minimal Win's idea to bring it to Eesti Laul.
I mean, after the last year's show, we had the kind of good like approach to one another, and then we start talking, and then we start sharing studio room and just jamming, and there it started coming. I see you're afraid. Well, each card I change, like Ali doesn't do that.
So you're kind of in the process of finding your own like artist identity now. Like, who am I in a musical
I think I have found it already, but it's just I'm in the process of showing to people. I have to perform and gain in a way that to release music, because before Eesti Laul I had like 3 songs last year. And all this year long afterwards, I just worked on my album, which thanks to Eesti Laul now, it just was postponed. But this is also has a good end, because now all this year has unlocked new opportunities. But my professional goal was after losing, I lost. That's how I see it. Was to prepare my own musical perspective and bring those to people for them to understand me better, because you just win out of singing covers, but that directly doesn't convert into that your songs will be appreciated right away, because Turkish music industry is so much bigger than here. That challenge of having also in a global sense of it, like in a European base, but also in Turkish base, I actually kind of want to test myself out. And hopefully achieve it. And those were the things that I was focusing on. But maybe this year Eesti Laul will just have a part in that. Yes,
if you click your fingers now, the video will go to an interview I did yesterday with Nut. You should try it. Just click your fingers. Wait, there's meant to be an artist here. Let me try that again.
Can I get you anything, sir?
Yeah, can I get another coffee, please?
Yeah, sure, you can. If you just go and get yourself one.
I think it may actually be helpful to start, just for some context, to explain exactly where we are now, because this is your studio, but also the location of, I don't know, it's grown so much. I don't know if it's a side hustle so much as a main hustle at this point.
No, it's still definitely a side hustle for me. It's a distillery. We distill gin. And some non-alcoholic beverages as well.
But we should, of course, talk about music. We've been talking a lot about, because the world is such an uncertain place, there's a lot of capital emotional capital in music that feels like escapist, music that feels nostalgic, but also music that has that tension in it. I guess that presumably some of those things are what was motivating you to write this song.
Definitely. I wrote this song July last year, and at that moment of time I saw, like, among a lot of my friends, that despite that it was summer, it was kind of like a jolly good time. Still, a lot of people were struggling, and for the past 5-6 years since COVID, all the tension in the world, and I think and the financial, not the crisis, but it's not the easiest of times right now. So I kind of felt like this is what I want to write about. I have performed at Eesti Laul before, but never as no app. And up until now, when I performed, like, it was 13-14 years ago with my first band, Tenfold Rabbit, it was more like just, to go to Eesti Laul, or a few years ago with Melik. But this time, as you said, like, on a professional level, I'm not gonna deny that Eurovision is the best platform for an artist, let's say from Eastern European country especially, to get to a wider stage of audience, to spread my music. This is as basic as it gets. It's like we've been joking amongst our team, it's like getting ready for the Olympics or whatever, because you prepare, let's say with this song, it's been a bit more than half a year, but still it's like every day you work for these 3 minutes. And we feel like we put so much effort into it, and we really hope that Estonian people are gonna vote for our song, because we didn't even think too much about how it's gonna fit Eurovision, but just how it would have the best impact on a big stage. And I think it's difficult to find a bigger arena in Europe than Eurovision.
And there's literally no bigger arena in Estonia than the one that Eesti Laul takes place in. I mean, for context, a lot of people watching this won't know, as we're sat here, about 2 weeks ago, Universal announced that they were closing down their office. Sony has already pulled out of the Baltics. We're actually in a really sort of a time of a lot of change in these markets.
There are also, like, there are positive sides and negative sides. I'm not, to be clear, I'm not complaining, because I think in a way, if you are an artist in this region, you can live a good life if you are satisfied with your career inside this little country. I think it's a perfect place to live. No complaints, whatever. But when it comes to international scale, then definitely if you live in a country with a population of 1.3 million, where maybe less than 1 million speak Estonian, then this narrows down your initial audience, your initial spark, which could lift your career. Universal, Sony, this is a sign of, unfortunately, that this market is small. It's difficult to generate money just by streams and like authors' rights and so on. So even if you are the biggest artist, one of the biggest artists in Estonia, still, if you have to compete in an international scale when it comes to whatever marketing campaigns or music videos or whatever, then obviously if you're the biggest artist in Germany, like, the budgets are completely different. Especially if you sing in English, as I do, then there's no distinguishable, like, difference. Like, it's not like, okay, even though he's an Estonian artist, it's pretty good. It's like you're on the same competition with Drake and Eminem. It can be, what do I need or what do I want from Eurovision? I want the big stage, I want a lot of audience, but the other way of seeing is like, what do I have to offer for the Eurovision audiences? We are quite not dependent on how it goes with Eurovision, but we've been holding off a lot of our plans and a lot of the concerts for us, like in foreign countries. We were looking at US and Australia for a little tour. This is how we would say how successful we've been is like how many of these plans we are able to realize. Yeah, and Eurovision is definitely one of the top priority right now. I don't deny.
Well, I think that's a beautiful place to end. Thank you so much for sitting down and speaking to us. It's great to be here again. Buy the gin.
Buy the gin.
The gin is really good. It's real, but this isn't an interview, so let's move on to the next thing. I'm on a staircase in an undisclosed location. I mean, it's the Unibet Arena, it's not undisclosed, but the point is that I'm here with Clicherik and Max. We already spoke once in December. It's great to see you guys again. Firstly, we're here, you've had your rehearsals today and yesterday. How are you feeling? How are things going?
The rehearsals are going great. They get better with each one.
Yeah, the first one was kind of awful. Because like, even though like in the rehearsals with the coach, like you can sing and then you go on stage, you're like more nervous, so you don't get like, you don't have enough breath. So this made me like tweak. I was like anxious, but like today, it was like
if that version was on stage, that would be great.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of has these different motivations, different reasons why they want to be here and why they want to go to Eurovision. What do you guys want out of this experience?
I think we have already like won everything that we could, like obviously not Eesti Laul, but like I've made progress, like performance-wise. That's like something I didn't expect. It would be nice if we won. Like I will be okay with it.
I feel like in my mind it's about winning this, and when we win, then I get to think about it. Like then I think about Eurovision.
We've never had like a mission to push our music like outside Estonia, kind of. But like again, I will be okay with it.
And Estonia is also like the scene is so small. People would think it's bad to make music here, but you're supporting something that's small and making something small bigger.
It's interesting. One of the things that people have said to me is that the Estonian industry is both like easy and hard. But because it's a smaller community, it's kind of easier to make some connections and stuff. It's hard because let's say you want to do a tour, you can do a show in, you've got Tallinn, Tartu, Pärnu, and it's like.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't like these celebrity riches like the USA, but people definitely live well and are good off music. But already not having a day job is already a win, I
mean, this is the other thing, and it's like even just, I get this from making videos, you guys get this from making music. On the most basic level, it is just so fulfilling, right?
Yeah.
You get to go out and...
I still take this as a hobby, and when somebody gives money for that, that's like, all right.
Good luck. Thanks so much for speaking to us again, and hopefully we'll have something to celebrate afterwards.
Thank you, let's hope so. We're gonna do our best. Yeah, either way we celebrate.
Now that we've gone through these interviews and we're getting ready to go to rehearsals, it strikes me just how differently these artists view just about everything about this selection, about Eurovision, and about the stages of their career that they're at. Take Ant firstly. We already spoke to him last year. He had this total monofocus on winning. I'm here to win. I must win. I can't not win. Compare that to this year and you have someone who just seems much more comfortable in themselves, arriving with a song that he didn't even decide to submit and that was written on a couch for its own sake rather than specifically for Eurovision. That's a big difference to the deliberate, Swedish-produced, internationally recorded piece that we had last year. His perspective is much wider now. He's talking about developing himself as a performer and working towards releasing his first album. Those wider goals he had last year are still there, but they form part of a wider picture now. It's a much healthier way of looking at it. Similarly, you can take Andrei Zevakin, who looks at it through a different lens and comes from the perspective of someone who's been an influencer, who's very popular in Estonia, and has been for a number of years. In that time, he's experimented with a lot of different creative outlets. Winning Eesti Laul and going to Eurovision has been a personal dream of him since he was young, but it was clear that he really placed value in the way that this experience and going through it a few times has developed him professionally. It's built him connections, it's taught him new skills. And I guess on the flip side to Andre, if you want a perfect example of someone with a very clear goal in mind, that's Nup this year. His song was written with this context in mind, with the idea of going to Eesti Laul and going to Eurovision, and a lot of his plans are built around that. It's obviously a passion project, as most music is for people, but it also has a very professional, very sort of guided missile kind of quality to it, where you can tell he's always thinking a few steps ahead. He's conscious of the platform that the contest provides for artists from places like the Baltics and the Balkans, and the fact that really it is truly unique in that respect. You don't kind of get that anywhere else. For many artists, that is the thing that is going to push them to going to the big stage. And if you really want a stark example of why that matters when it comes to needing that kind of stage, Estonia is actually a really great place right now. We heard some of that from Clicherik and Max. While their monofocus is on Eesti Laul right now, and I think they're just kind of enjoying the experience as it is, their label, Universal Music, announced just a few weeks ago that they're pulling out of the country entirely. All of their artists are being released from the label. Let's not pretend that this is some kind of apocalypse for the music industry here, because it's certainly not. And let's also not pretend that artists can't make a living just making music in this country. They can, and they do. But there are ceilings that you don't get in bigger markets. If you want to go on tour in this country, you're gonna run out of cities pretty fast. And as a result, there is a limit to what you can achieve on some level. There are positives as well. Tallinn is not a big city, so if you want to build up links, you can do that pretty fast. There's a lot of networking opportunities. But sooner or later, that ceiling is going to come from the fact that this is just a small country. At this point, you kind of have a choice. Are you, as an artist, satisfied with that ceiling? Many people are, and they become legends in this country in their own right, and have achieved very great success through doing that. Many people aren't, though, and in a sense, artists are self-selecting to be ambitious, hardworking, and so on, because those are the traits that make you succeed in this industry, much like in many others. For that reason, a lot of people are going to want more, are going to want to test themselves at the highest level. Eurovision stands alone as a kind of proper moonshot opportunity in this respect. There isn't really anything like it in the world. So this is another set of competing goals, ambitions, targets that we have to understand if we're going to understand all the different layers that are under the surface here. Yes, the competition element creates a singular, monolithic goal in theory everyone is working towards. But there's so much more going on here that helps us understand the complex interplay between the music industry, Eurovision, and society more generally. In an industry now dominated by corporate interests, this environment is hardly unique in being morally compromised at present. I think it helps sometimes to remember that the artists, both involved and not, in Eurovision, are living in the same hyper unequal world as the rest of us, and most of them are just struggling to get by like the rest of us are. In that situation, just as you and I do, you have to leap at every opportunity you get. In the vast majority of Europe in this career, Eurovision is one of the really good ways to do that. It highlights again that the core mechanic of Eurovision that should be more important above all others is artist discovery. It works best when you have a Måneskin or an ABBA or a Celine Dion. At the moment, the environment doesn't feel conducive to that on a European level. In the national selections like here, it's definitely still working. What that means though at a Eurovision level is we're not so likely to get that kind of Måneskin level breakthrough in the next few years. One of the big ideas that EBU had to try and refocus on this was going on tour, which was explicitly meant to give the kinds of artists that could never usually fill big arenas the opportunity to do that all across Europe. That has been cancelled within a week of ticket sales going to the public. That clearly shows that right now Eurovision is not favourable to the general audience or to the diehards to the extent that they were willing to put money up to go and see this thing. The contest has some serious work to do to repair that relationship in order to provide the artists with the platform that the contest should be providing them with. To be honest, I'm not sure we're focused on the right things at the moment. A lot of what we're seeing, whether it's the tour or potential replications of the Eurovision format elsewhere in the world, are exciting and ambitious on the surface, but they trade on the strength of Eurovision as a brand. Eurovision as a brand is only strong if Eurovision as a platform is healthy too. Right now, I'm not sure you can say it is. We spend a lot of time, and especially this year, spend a lot of time talking about the contest's identity. And the ultimate goal should be getting it back to a place where the contest can be about providing, protecting and building on that platform for artists again. I know I miss the time when it felt like that was what the contest was about. For today at least though, it is about the artists. 12 of them who are about to perform in this arena behind me, all with their own goals and targets and ambitions. We've done this a few times now, so you do know the drill. We're gonna get inside for the rehearsals shortly because my ears are freezing off. We're gonna give you a taste of that. We're gonna make some predictions for tonight, and then of course it'll be the show itself. There's a lot to think about in the Eurovision world right now, but let's have the next 5 to 10 minutes be a focus on these amazing artists. Is about to deliver either the greatest disaster pop or a Felicia-esque early 2010s masterpiece, and it really could be either one. It needs to be either terrible or the best thing I've ever seen. That's what I'm hoping for. I was watching the camera angles. The camera angles, the cuts were so slow, so unenergetic, and it's sapping the energy out of the song. It is quite unconventional. Yeah, it is. Try my best to be there for you. That's quite impressive. They just lift that all out.
I can't take my eyes off you. Then don't. Your kisses are like diamonds. How dramatic. But do say it again.
There is literally a queue of children leading away from the green room who want to take photos with Clicherik Max. Look.
A few moments later.
The show is finished. We've now seen all the acts. I'm even more confused about who's going to win this show than I was before, but that means I need to bring back a guest from last year to help me work it out, and that is, of course, Sydney.
Hello! Hello, Europe!
Sydney has been in the news in Estonia all week because she made a YouTube video saying that none of these songs would qualify for the final of Eurovision.
Yes, I did do that, and I'm not sure if I've changed my mind yet.
Well, at the very least, who do you think, having seen the rehearsals, you've been here all week, try and give us some idea, who is going to do well here? Who might make the superfinal? Who might win it? And just bear in mind that the incorrect prediction counter is going to be on screen for both of us.
Okay. Well, regarding the winner, I have no clue. I have no idea. I think like top 3 might be in no particular order. Ollie, for sure. Clicherik and Max. And after seeing the show, Keterjani.
You think so?
Yeah. I saw the rehearsals yesterday and I was like, I like the song, but she was like somewhere in the middle ground, just like somewhere out there. And then after the show, I was like flabbergasted how awesome it is and how thought out it is and details and everything. I love it. And I think she might surprise people and push someone else out.
I mean, she's one of the ones with a point to prove. The thing that I'm scared of, and if we look at the odds right now, is that Vanilla Ninja is a clear favourite.
Yeah.
Do you really think? Because for me, I think the three that are on my mind for the Superfinal would be Vanilla Ninja, Clicherik Max, one of Nip or Ollie.
Okay.
And I can't decide which. So I guess I can have a tick in the incorrect prediction counter because I just chose 4 and there's only 3 Superfinal places. Why do you think the odds are wrong and Vanilla Ninja isn't going to do this?
Well, Vanilla Ninja is just a legendary act. They're icons. They've been doing this for a long time, and I was a fan when I was this big, and they're a phenomenon. But I don't know. The song doesn't hit for me. It's very much like with the younger audience. I don't think the younger people really care about the song, but with like people that are a little bit older and like a generation above us, they love the show and this song, and I mean they have the money to vote. But I do think that the people that were very much rooting for Vanilla Ninja at first have kind of gone over to get the gun side. At least that's what my market hearing with my mom and my grandma and their friends proved.
I mean, this is the other thing I'm worried about is that I think there are so many great songs in this show. I actually think contrary to what you think, I actually think there's loads of viable potential qualifiers, especially now that the juries are back in the semi-finals at Eurovision. I think Ollie could qualify, Clicherik and Max, Nup, Anton Minimal Wind could qualify. And actually, I was really proud of Ant because it felt like there was no cloud over him. It felt really natural. Yes. Whereas last year, he kind of seemed more preoccupied. I actually think there's a lot of really good songs in this selection. I'm still really worried that Vanilla Ninja will go to Eurovision, and it's no disrespect to them or their legacy. This song is totally inappropriate for this context now. Yeah. It has been out of date for a long time. I remember a song from the early 2010s from Ireland called Etc., which sounded really similar. Came like 16th in the semi-final.
Yeah.
Now, the benefit is this year, thanks to the decisions of the EBU, no one can come 16th in the semi-final, so it'll do better than that. But I really think it's a low place contender. I guess the only other question is then, who's going to win? We have to name one. We have to say someone. Yeah.
Okay, so being in the arena, I went around and asked people who they think are gonna win. Mm-hmm. They were mainly, of course, like young girls. So the plethora of people is not that the audience it's not like a age and gender grouped. But the names I heard the most were Ollie and Clicherik and Max. Mm-hmm. Now, I think if I have to put my money on something, it's gonna be Ollie.
I would be really happy for Ollie. I think he deserves it if he wins it. I'll be really happy for him or Nip and loads of different artists who I'd be delighted for. I don't know. I'm scared of Vanilla Ninja, and I think I have
nervous.
to. Yeah, I have to prepare myself for them winning by saying that I think they're going to win.
Okay, and then the counter went up.
Yeah, well, we'll see. The counter either went up when I said that or when you said the counter was going to go up.
No, when you said. That's when the counter went up.
In any case, next up is the show. So while we will have to suffer for the next few hours until we find out what happens, for you're about to see a few tastes of the show and then straight on to the results. Don't go anywhere.
Can we make one more prediction?
Yes.
Who's gonna be dead last?
I'm so sorry, Robert Linner.
I think it's gonna be Marta Vikani.
Okay. In any case, we'll see very shortly. So, our seats didn't exist. But we're here now, and anyway, it seems to look fine. The next thing you're going to see is Showtime. having no idea who's going to win this. But my fear of the impending Vanilla Ninja rises with every passing minute. I increasingly am feeling that the technical limitations of this show has limited a lot of the songs that could challenge. As a result, we could well end up with Vanilla Ninja or whatever this is. Now, just to be clear, Vanilla Ninja would be a funny outcome in a bad way. Stig and Victor would be a hilarious outcome, possibly in a good way. There are a lot of acts I'd be really happy if they won tonight. You know, Clicherik Max, Ant, Ollie, Nep, you know, the list goes on. I'll be delighted if any of them win, not least because none of them are Vanilla Ninja. But Ollie has worked really hard for this. It would be a beautiful end to his Eesti Laul story if he walked away with a victory tonight. Okay, jury results time. So we're starting with the jury vote and then the public will follow.
How did you like tonight's performance?
It's broken into 2 rounds. So this is just to decide who the top 3 that goes to the all public super final is. Here come the points. Only 1 for Vanilla Ninja. Perfect start. Keep this energy.
Number 2, I would go with Ant Minimal Wind.
Ant and Minimal Wind with 10. So here comes the first 12. It's going to either Laura Pritz, Greta Paya, or Clicherik Max.
Number 1 for me was Laura Pritz.
Laura Pritz. Well, I suspected that we might get some weird jury results. Here come the next sets of points. Only 3 for Clicherik and Max again. It kind of looks over already. We're now halfway through the juries, and I still have no idea what's going to happen because there is 0 consistency whatsoever, which either speaks very well or very badly of the quality of this selection. 12 for either Ollie or Vanilla Ninja.
Yes, my 12 incredible points go to Ole with
Ollie! And with that, he's back in the game. 9 off the top into 4th place. If he wins the public vote, which is possible, 4th is enough in every circumstance. If you come 4th in the juries and win the public vote under this system, you will always be in the final. It's feeling quite Jova for Clicherik Max. The streets won't forget, but it feels like Eesti Laul has.
It's 12 points from me here in the United Kingdom for Ole.
Ollie! Up to 43 now. 4 points off the lead. We should say, in the position we are in now, even if Vanilla Ninja won the public vote, they could still be knocked out of the super final because they are too low in the juries. So Rosalind is giving her points now. This is the final juror.
Points go to Laura Pritz.
And Stockholm Cowboys only get 4.
Yes.
If Ollie gets 12, if Ollie gets 12 now, he wins the jury and Vanilla Ninja will only be 6th.
Go to
Ollie! Ollie wins the jury! Vanilla Ninja are in 6th! Even if they win with the public now, there is a massive chance they will not go to the super final. Could the evil be defeated? Right now, it's Ollie, Stockholm Cowboys, Ant and Minimal Wind, Nurp Getayani. That's your top 5. Vanilla Ninja 6th. Outside of that range, realistically, nobody is in with a chance of making it to the super final. There's too large a hill to climb. Sadly, that means we are saying goodbye to Clicherik Max. They will not go into the next stage of the competition. I really hope that they win, or at least come in the top 3 with the public, because that's what they deserve. We're now into the public vote results. They're announcing the names from bottom to top in terms of their finishing position.
Clicherik Max!
Clicherik Max, only 7 from the public, putting them on 11 overall. A final finishing place of 7th. They'll be disappointed with that. It didn't come together in the end. Song is still a banger though. Ant and Minimal Wind, there it is. 14 points in total. A 6th place finish for them. They should be really proud of what they did tonight. That is a great result for them, especially with the jury, but we knew it was never going to go big with the public. So, Ollie, Stockholm Cowboys, Nep, Getayani, Vanilla Ninja. 3 of those 5 go to the final.
Daamid ja härrad, üks ainus, Getayani.
Getayani is next. 8 and 9 for a total of 17. So 8, 9, 11, 12. Those are the amounts of points left. They will now announce the super finalists. Vanilla Ninja, Nip, Ollie and Stig and Victor are on screen now. If Vanilla Ninja are through, it means they've won the televote and they're probably winning the show. Nip is through! Nip is through! 1 of 3! Oh! Oh, thank God. Right. The crowd wants Ollie. The next one is
Teine superfinalist on Ollie!
He will have a chance at redemption. Stockholm Cowboys or Vanilla Ninja. If Vanilla Ninja didn't win the public vote, or if Stockholm Cowboys didn't get 9 points from the public, they go through. That means in this moment, if Vanilla Ninja go through, we know they won with the public. That means they won with the public. From 6th in the jury, it's the only way for them to be in the top 3. And Stockholm Cowboys not, is if they won with the public. And Stockholm Cowboys came 7th. Now it's time. The voting is closed, the result is now. Nööp, Ollie, Vanilla Ninja. 31% of the votes.
Eesti Laul 2026 kolmas koht on
Ollie! If Ollie got 31, that means 69% between the two of them, and both of them got more than 31. So that means 34 and a half each. Nööp can make the final. Nööp is... It has to be Nööp. From these two, it has to be Nööp.
Eesti Laul 2026 võitja.
The winner is... It's a horrible song. It was a horrible performance. The jury recognized that it was nowhere near the best song in this selection. And that's Estonia's qualification streak over. I cannot believe, amid an embarrassment of riches when it came to options that could make the final, what an utterly horrible, horrible decision. There's nothing else that can be said for tonight. There are no words, and I'm not going to have any today. I am going to go and have a lot of shots and try and forget this ever happened. For now, goodbye.
A few inches later.
Well, that was a disaster. Seriously though, there were a lot of good things about this show, but the result is just about the worst one that we could have asked for. I should say, I of course understand the legacy that Vanilla Ninja have in this country especially, and why Estonians are proud of them and felt that nostalgia factor. The problem is, the world has changed since the mid-2000s. Vanilla Ninja haven't at all. It's exactly the same as it was then, and in some way that's commendable that they're consistent, but in this context, kinda means it's a disaster. There's been a lot of discourse about this show online, and I think a lot of it is centered around not the fact that the songs were in some way insufficient, but in that the production kind of let us down. The cameras are too slow, the sound production is poorly done, vocals stick out like a sore thumb rather than feeling like they're integrated with the mix underneath them. It just saps so much energy and so much potential out of a lot of these songs, and I find that so frustrating. I will say though, ultimately, these shows are not necessarily about the winners. We've talked a lot about that in this video, about what it means for each artist to participate, what it means for their careers, for them personally. And if there's one uniform thing that has been across everyone who we've interviewed in this video and the others who we've spoken to, it's that people are really proud to be involved in this. This show is a cultural institution here. It matters to Estonians who they send, sure, but it also matters to Estonians who are in the music industry to be a part of it in some way. There is a really friendly atmosphere behind the scenes that doesn't necessarily come across on TV. There is a lot of improvement work that needs to be done here, and I hope that lessons can be learned from places like Latvia, where I think they're really putting on a good show at the minute, and also the country just over on the other side of this big sea, which is Finland. We're going to be there in a couple of weeks, by the way, so make sure you're subscribed for that if you haven't already. Overall, this time I'm going to be leaving Estonia pretty depressed about the results. This is a song that I think is more likely to finish last in the semi-final than it is to get anywhere near qualification. If it does make it, and I think that's a very slim chance, it's going to finish 10th in the semi-final and last in the final. For me, that's disappointing because I thought that Estonia had a lot of viable options. But on the other side, we kind of expected this. This is what I predicted would happen, and to an extent, well, that's life. I remember a comment on my Finland video in 2024, which was something along the lines of, if national finals were all about the winner, then nobody would go to them. It's about the experience. And I guess that's kind of how I'm trying to look at this in every sense. For me personally, for the artists involved, and for the Estonians watching it on TV who hopefully enjoyed what was a good show. For now though, while this cold depression bubble that I'm in is going to last for a little bit, given that I'm standing in the very place where I proposed to my fiancée a few months ago, literally right here on this very spot, I can't be too mad about it, and my love-in with Estonia unfortunately is going to continue. For now, I hope we were able to shed some light on some of the people behind these shows and why they do what they do. Like I've been constantly saying, we're trying to find the why. We're trying to understand why Eurovision is important, why the bubble around it matters. And hopefully this video has at least succeeded in shedding a little more light on that, even though we weren't able to document an actual viable Eurovision entry going to the contest. In any case, for now, subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed it. All my socials are in the description, as well as details on how to financially support me if you wish. Thank you so much for watching, and see you very soon. For now, I'm gonna go inside because it's freezing cold.